When I talk to singles, they often feel like their biggest problem is they're simply not meeting the right person for them. And they feel like if they could meet that right person, their problems would be solved. Now, I want to address that issue in this video and talk about it. Now, a little bit about me. I'm a dating coach for men and women, which puts me in a really unique position that I do talk to women, I do talk to men, and I get a unique perspective of what's working and what's not. Now, what I feel that happens when it comes to dating and relationships is how people are going about dating is the one thing that's not working for them. And there's a whole pile of reasons that I'm going to address in this video. Now, if we, and I say this a lot in my videos, if we approached any other relationship the way we do our romantic relationships, we possibly wouldn't have any. If we wanted our friends to tick every box, to be everything that we wanted, I'm sure that they wouldn't be our friends. Yet we come with this high expectation of that one person to be everything on a first meeting. And it's a lot of pressure for that person. Now, before I get started, there's one fear that a lot of women seem to have that I haven't come across so much with men. That women often feel like to get what they want or to have a relationship, they're going to have to settle for something they don't want or someone that they're not attracted to. And it's a big fear. I want to tell you, you do not have to settle for anyone you're not attracted to. In fact, being attracted to someone is a really big component of having the right relationship. But what people tend to do is want that instant attraction, and the instant attraction is rarer than you think. And sometimes when people are going about dating the wrong way, because we're not always instantly attracted to friends, other people, romantic partners, and I can tell you story after story after story where this has been the case. So we're going on dates with someone and expecting to know really quickly whether they're going to be our person in a high judgy atmosphere, okay? Which doesn't bring out the best of people. And we're not always right with those judgments when it comes to that. But I do want to say that a relationship has three components. Number one is attraction. The second one is compatibility. And the third one is they want to commit to the same type of relationship as you do. So you need to make sure all of those three components are in place. And often people will go for, there's attraction, there's compatibility, but the person's just never going to commit to them because the timing's not right. Or, they try compatibility and commitment, but they're not attracted. So that doesn't work. You can't have a long-term relationship with someone that you're not attracted to. It is the glue that keeps you together. But attraction, like I said, isn't always instant, and that's what you've got to be aware of. Now, I want to tell you one of my client stories, and I've got her permission, and I'm going to change her name. So I'm going to tell you Sarah's story. Now, Sarah, when we worked together, we talked about, not loading every dating situation with too much expectation, to be curious about people and get to know them without, we don't want to hurt people. So we don't want to waste anyone's time, and men and women tell me this, but we try and make those decisions too quickly. So this is where I want to tell you Sarah's story. So Sarah had, and I do recommend this, get to know someone over a period of time without it having to be a dating situation. So what I mean is you could join some social groups, some places where you can meet where it's lower risk, you're not necessarily going on a date. And Sarah had met this guy over 3 occasions. So one of them did happen to be at one of my events. And the first time, she met him, thought that he was good looking. Didn't think that much of him. They had a conversation, but it didn't really go anywhere, right? It wasn't anything, they probably both walked away and thought, nice person, and didn't think much else. She came across this same guy when she was out somewhere, and that they were with people and they did have a better talk and a laugh together and saw a different side of each other. Then they did run into each other the third time, okay? And on the third time, it really, then attraction was there a little bit. So they arranged to go on a date. And on the date, yeah, they did find each other attractive and things had changed for them. What I can tell you is now they're in love and they're in a relationship that's been going for, 6 months, 7 months, and they're really quite happy together. But if that was a date, they would have said no to each other, right? Which I find really interesting. Both of them didn't feel anything for each other than the fact that they were nice people. And they could have overlooked each other if they hadn't have met each other again and again. And again, like I say, they were situations that weren't loaded with any expectation. Because when we're sitting there not wanting to hurt someone, saying that we have to say yes or no fairly quickly, our default, unless there's a huge thing of attraction, is no. So, Sarah could have missed out on this great guy who is everything that she wanted to if she'd have been on a date with him. So, when I say to people, give people more of a chance, you have to find something, that you enjoy about the person to go on a second date. And if attraction continues to grow, then you go on another. If it goes down or you just don't feel anything, well, there is no point. So sometimes what I find with people is they'll go, well, I've tried dating someone that wasn't my type. But they've tried someone that there's absolutely no attraction and there never is going to be. So it's important to be curious and open and not so fixed because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, I want to say when it comes to chemistry, a lot of the people I work with put a high value on having a high level of chemistry with someone. And they can get stuck in these toxic relationships and that can be very addictive. And I want to, compare it to gambling. You go gambling and you get a win. And then you go gambling the next 50 times, you don't get a win, but you're looking for the feeling you had there. And then when you get it, after 50 you get it, and maybe you go another 10 and you don't get it, and then you get a win. That's very addictive, right? That unpredictability, not knowing what's going to happen, but knowing that it could happen. People get addicted to relationships that are like that. They get addicted to relationships where they try and prove themselves, where it's unpredictable, where it can feel exciting, yet they're not getting their needs met. And it can be a very toxic situation. And, again, when deep down you might have some level of not feeling good about yourself, it can be that challenge to prove that you are good enough. So when they show you that affection, it can feel like, you're suddenly becoming good enough. And it can be very addictive trying to prove your worth. Dating someone where they like you but not quite enough. Look, if they really saw who I was, and if they continue to see the person I was, they would like me more. But women, guys don't do that. They've formed a view very early of what you're going to be and what type of relationship you're going to be, and it really changes. It would be the 1 in 100 that it changes. Men are very different to women in that men will have a relationship when they're ready. They may enjoy women's company in between. They may even really like someone, but they'll only have a relationship with you when they're ready. So if they've told you that they're not, that is not going to change. You can be the most amazing, the most beautiful, the most wonderful woman, but that will not change his mind. Women, guys can win us over, right? So guys, you're lucky in that respect. You can persist, you can, and if we feel love, we'll often give up something for love, whereas men won't. And men know whether they're going to be in a relationship or whether you're relationship material early. So women, stop wasting time on guys who don't want to give you what you want. And yes, it's addictive. Yes, it's exciting. But I have so many people I work with that have wasted so many years on the guy that won't give them what they want. And then they come out of that and they're hard and they're not trusting and they're not really open to letting the next person in. Now, I want to say, when you have, a relationship that's right and safe, it feels very different to these toxic relationships. So if you have, this wonderful relationship where the other person wants to support, wants to value you, wants to help you pursue your dreams, sees the beauty in you, often that can feel very flatline as opposed to these massive ups and downs. And you can get really comfortable in relationships that aren't good for you. So when you come across one that does feel good, it can often not feel right because of all of those feelings. And we can get comfortable with quite toxic situations really quickly. And I see this time and time again. Look, we're very complex as human beings, right? So often you can have been in a relationship for 20 years that wasn't right for you, but you know how to deal with it. It's comfortable. So when you come across another one that's like that, it can feel like home because it's what you're used to. You can even feel the sparks of chemistry, but it can be very wrong for you. And there's a lot of research that as humans we tend to do this. And when I work with people, I work to break some of those patterns that are keeping them stuck in a relationship that's not working for them. And it's not that they're doing anything wrong or that they have to fix and change stuff. Often they're accepting relationships that don't make them happy, and they literally can't see the ones that are making them happy. So it can be a mix of how we're going about dating, of not giving really good people a chance. And look, I've done what I've done for a decade, so I can clearly see in people that first impressions in dating aren't always correct. I mean, ultimately, when you're dating someone, you can trust the gut feeling, and your gut will, reveal to you what you need to know. But those first impressions can mislead us when it comes to dating, and we're tending to make these very definite decisions really quickly. And if Sarah had done that, she would have missed out on who she sees as the love of her life. So if you need help, that's what I do. If you've got value out of this video, please press the red subscribe button and you'll get regular updates. And if you want to break some of these patterns, I would love to help you do that. Simply reach out, send me a message, send me an email, go to my website. I would love to hear from you. I'm Debbie Revers, a relationship expert, and I hope whatever you do brings a smile to your face. Thank you.